Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle Earth here with a bit of a rant video. Don't let the chill background music fool you. I am less than pleased with Rise to War currently, and I want to talk about why and what prompted me getting into this headspace here that I'm thinking about. Let's just roll the intro and I'll get into it because I think this is going to be I'm going to try and keep it a little bit short and sweet, but I've got some things I want to talk about, and I'm not happy with the current state of the game or the direction I feel like it's going in. So roll the intro. Let's get into it. All right, so if you haven't been following the channel, I've been playing a new game called Heroes of Middle Earth, which is a Lord of the Rings themed turn-based RPG hero collector. Which again, if you like that type of game, it's a lot of fun. I would check it out. We're having a lot of fun with it. If it's not your thing, no, that's totally fine. We've been playing that for a couple of reasons. One, because our season is pretty much over. If you look at this, hopefully it's not hard to tell that we are the Green Kingdom, which has not existed as a kingdom for a long time. So our season's been over for a little while, and we have probably about 3 weeks left in this server before we go back into bag end. So again, we've all been in this place where either on the winning or losing side, it's just dead time, and you're just waiting for the season to be over, get your rewards, move on. So this is the state we're in, as well as just for the channel being my job, trying to promote a new game and grow and reach new players, bigger audience, yada yada yada. So that's the reason I've been a little bit less active in terms of Rise to War streams, because I have something else I'm trying to cover, for YouTube, which is my job, as well as that there's nothing really to do right now. So anyway, I hopped back on this morning and last night because I was like, all right, we've got a week of this game under our belt. Let's try and figure out how we balance these things out on the channel, because I'm going to be covering both games. I've been playing Rise to War pretty much daily for a year and a half. And again, it's been a part of me building this community that I have, that everyone is a part of, which is very, very meaningful. So I don't plan to stop playing Rise to War or anything like that, but I do have my frustrations with it. I'm logging in and I'm kind of reading the Discord notes to see what updates and things have happened, what's going on. At the very least, expecting just like no changes, but there were a few things that I just like almost can't put into words. And I'm trying to make this is not too rambly. It's going to be ranty, but I don't want to just like ramble on and say the same things for 20 minutes. But I log in. First of all, I see this turbulence chest that they have. This is an event they did or are doing, and they have just pretty much given up on any actual content for events and are just doing pretty much text you read and click around on the screen with like not anything, there's no like actual thought into it. It's just like, let's throw some text on the screen, click here, click there. Here's 100 gems or whatever. And they give us these chests. Now these chests you can open 200 times. So that's about $400, at least for USD. So they're basically just trying to put out like the absolute bare minimum they can to call it an event, and then kind of try and get 400 bucks out of players who are willing to do that. Now, are the chests themselves bad? No, the custom wish list is pretty nice. And if you're going to spend, whatever, do your thing. I'm very much on a break of spending with this game because of the direction it's going in. So I see that. Again, I'm just irritated with the lack of events that have like decent rewards for the players. Again, there are things like gear that could be given out. There are things like the Elven Craftsman Hammer that could be given out. There's a lot of things we could do. And there's events we've had in the past that have been enjoyable with, give it the garden we had in the springtime last year. People enjoyed that. A way to interact and do social things with people in the game, especially in downtimes. People have enjoyed that in terms of events. So we don't get any of that anymore. It is quite literally like open this letter, and that's what it was. It's open a letter, get 100 gems a day for 5 days, and that's one Matham, by the way. And then if you want, you can spend 400 bucks and open this chest. So to me that's absurd. That this is still passed as content, and I'm not spending any more in this game. Maybe forever, but for the foreseeable future, it's very much a slap in the face to players who continue to do things that are that bad. So to me, if we want change, we need to, they're making enough that they just keep doing this. So if we want change, I think it's time to say, okay, let's cut out again, I don't have a problem with the chests. I don't have a problem with the game making money. I actually want that. I just think there needs to be a closer to even exchange for content or meaningful updates or whatever it be for what they're asking. So anyway, that's that. Then I look and there's these other two chests, which I didn't actually see about in Discord, but I saw them here and went and kind of looked for them and found an email they sent out to my, to whatever email I have associated with this. And we have the Sestaro and Thorin adventurer chests that I absolutely do not like. And I've talked about this on stream quite a bit. The drop right up, the glowing drop right up on the commanders that would, to me, indicate that there is a higher drop rate of commander respect or full pulls. And again, to a player who's not paying enough attention, or maybe just started and sees this and goes, oh my gosh, Thorin's my favorite character, and there's a better rate for him in this chest. It's like you're not 100% wrong, but to me, it seems like very almost predatory and scammy with how they do this. So I don't like these chests in general. But again, if you've not looked at these chests, let me show you really quickly. If you click on them and you go to the percentages, the commander gift packs that drop the stuff is the same, and the full pull rate is the exact same at the current 1.3 or sorry 0.3. So it's not any different. The difference is that it's basically every other item that you pull is guaranteed to be whatever the featured is. So in this case, it's Thorin, and so if you pull and you don't get Thorin, the next one will be Thorin, and that applies to just actual gifts and the full pulls. So yes, if it's a character you're going for, it's not a horrible thing, but to me it seems very misleading. Drop rate up. Again, you have to go through and read a wall of text if you want to make sure you understand. So, here's the, drop rate for this commander's item when you obtain is 50%. So again, to me, it just seems like, and I've voiced this quite a few times on stream, the drop rate up, glowing, like making it seem like a better deal. It's basically a wish list chest that's Thorin, and then the other spot is just random between the other three, is how I kind of view it. So I don't like these chests. I don't like, again, if it was someone I really wanted and I was going to buy gems, that's fine. They use the adventure medals, so you can't save up Mathams, you can't exchange Mathams. They want you to spend more money, buy gems, and get these. So it's definitely a bigger thing to get money. That's not a secret. Again, if it's someone you really want or it's very meta, sure. They've done some very non-meta relevant commanders in this, which I think is a joke. But I don't like these chests, and the fact that the only thing that's happened in this game in the last little bit is chests is ridiculous. So I'm looking into this thing and I'm kind of getting frustrated. Again, this is not directed at any one developer or person that I probably even have contact with or have had contact with, because I'm sure there's decisions being made way up top that are affecting how these things happen. That's what my guess is, at least. I don't know who's making these decisions. So I get this thing in my email about these two chests, and I want to show you guys this. This is like just cherry on the top for how what I think the current state of the game is. So if you look here, there is this thing that mentions the Thorin drop rate up, Cesaro drop rate up chests. Don't like that. And then you go here and it says assisting you in obtaining commander rebate event gem bonus up to 3,200 gems on NetEase Games Club. So I was curious what exactly this meant. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, you can actually pull up the this website here. If you go to this, I'm not even going to link it because I think it's a scam. You can buy stuff on their website, which I mean, maybe there's a reason that you would do some of the stuff that you can't do in game. I don't know. You can buy bigger bundles of gems, which is like, okay, fine. If you want to do that, fine. The 3,200 gems they're talking about are right here. If you spend $1,000, you get 3,200 gems. Now, I am not a mathematician here, but 3,200 gems cost less than $20, about 15 bucks or whatever. This is USD. So the rebate event that they're doing, that's supposed to be a good thing, is a $15 bonus of gems if you spend $1,000. I don't know about you guys, but that seems absolutely ridiculous to me, and like insulting that they would even like put that on a graphic and state that there's a rebate event going on. I think it's absolutely embarrassing. And if that's the space that they're in, is just trying to, like, all they're hyping up is the monetized things, I'm very discouraged about the future of the game. So again, that being said, I wanted to post this out here because I'm not happy with some of the choices. I love the game. I love Rise to War. It is something, again, as a huge Lord of the Rings fan, there have been times in my life before Rise to War came out that there were not like Lord of the Rings games that were active and out. I would check the App Store, and I remember kind of doing that for several years where I'm like, when's the next Lord of the Rings game coming out? I want to play. So like, I love this universe. I really enjoy this game, but some of the decisions they're making, I feel like are very just ridiculously monetized. Again, monetization to me is okay. Monetize your game, but there needs to be at least it doesn't even have to be 50-50, like 60-40 in terms of like content that we enjoy to monetization. Heck, at this point I'd take 70-30, but it legitimately seems like it's 100% like over monetization to 0% meaningful updates and content that the players want to have to enjoy the game better. So Anyway, I wanted to put this together. That's like already 10 minutes of ranting just on like the stupid monetization. And again, like I'm not directing this at anybody. So I do try and be careful about that. I'm not someone who wants to jump in here and say F them or F, it's like this is, I don't know. Obviously someone's making the decisions here. But I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, while also speaking kind of seriously or passionately, because it's something I care about. And so when you see something you care about that for me is a part of my business, a very big part of it, making decisions that to me don't make it doesn't make it seem like it's going to have a long life. That's an issue. And that's where it's like, I gotta say something. But we've done a lot of those videos. We've done a lot of rant videos. I'm very candid with you guys and honest. It's something it's very important to me. We've done a lot of, hey, this needs changed, or hey, go upvote this post so they see it, whatever. And it just does not seem like the changes. They're very few and far between. But I wanted to take a second in this video and highlight 3 things that I feel like are some of the biggest changes that need to happen to like preserve this game and allow it to move forward. So without, I won't even count this as a number, but it goes without saying that the over monetization has to absolutely stop. Like they need to stop over monetizing. If they want to keep putting out the stuff they are in terms of chests and whatever for us to buy and bundles, again, there might even be one in here as well. Again, these aren't like bad deals. It's just like they just are repeating the same thing. It's $5 worth of gems and you get some extra stuff. So it's like, cool. That's not a horrible deal, but they have just stopped putting out any like content that's playable or like that makes it an actual event. And it's just like, you can buy this Middle-earth merchandise. You can buy these other chests. It's just, what do you want to spend money on next? So that's the biggest thing. I won't even give it a number because it should go without saying that the over monetization and lack of meaningful content and meaningful events is slowly, I think, maybe not that slowly, killing this game. So that needs to change. The next thing I want to talk about that I think this game needs to kind of stabilize is a respect refund system. Now, again, if they want to over monetize the game, I think they need to be a little bit flexible with what they offer players to provide a better experience. Something like a respect refund system that to me could work exactly like the Elven Craftsman's hammers. The hammers they released and the changes they made to the gear in this game were phenomenal. Like that's one of the best things they've done since this game, probably the best thing they've done since this game came out. So if they could implement that system, but instead of for gear, it's for commander respect. So you could use it. I could say, you know what? I don't want to use, I don't know. Let's just say I don't want to use my R10 Kamul. And we'll talk about commander balancing in a second. If they're not going to do commander balancing, which I think they should, and I'll cover it. If they're not going to do that, I want to refund my R10 Kamul again. That's a nice, look at that. Nice R10 Kamul doing nothing. I can use let's say it's a potion instead of a hammer. I can give that potion to Kamul. It takes his respect down to 0, and it gives me the equivalent amount of that respect in vouchers at the very least. Again, they could do more with it. They could do like a more like generic tier 2 respect. That would be amazing if they let us like actually, if I could get, an amount of tier 2 respect that could be moved around. But that's too good to be true, I think. So at the very least, you want the Matham exchange, you want the vouchers, talking to the devs, let us use something like that to refund those really commanders that won't be reworked or balanced or whatever, and allow us to at least use them in the exchange for other commanders. And it's at a loss, but instead of them sitting on the bench, we'd actually be able to use them, or gear. So you can do gear or commanders. Again, that would be a huge step in the right direction to doing something that is clearly for the player base to have a better experience. Those of us who have spent thousands of dollars, and again, even if you're free to play, it's just your time you've spent and you invested. Maybe you just didn't know that Kamul was bad, or Lurtz isn't that great, or whatever it is. Maybe you pushed a tier 3 a little bit higher than they needed to be, or just shouldn't have invested at all in them. And being able to move that around in your next season, all of a sudden have access, instead of an R5 Undying, maybe I have an R5 that I didn't have unlocked, or I push someone that I am using that's relevant a little bit higher. That would, to me, be a meaningful update. So the respect refund system absolutely needs to happen. I don't think it'd be difficult to implement. I think they have the structure already in the game for gear. So if they were to implement that, I think that'd be a huge step in the right direction to show that they care about the players and the time and money they've invested. Will it happen? I don't have high hopes right now. We did a video. We've done a couple of videos actually on a respect. It's been a while, but we did a post in the Discord, the main Discord, by the way, and it is the most upvoted post in their game suggestions channel. And not only has it not happened, which is like, okay, we can't just demand everything expected. I understand that, but they haven't ever addressed it or said anything to the player base why we're not doing it. Hey, we're working on it. That's not feasible. That's not going to be good for the long-term health of the game. like communicate with us, right? Like just let us know if it's not going to happen, why it's not going to happen, and then tell us what can be done, what can be done instead of that. If this doesn't work, this idea, what's another idea that could work? I think that needs to be done. But again, they have their game suggestions part, and they want game suggestions in the Discord. They've got to be upvoted a bunch so people see them. That, to me, that's ridiculous. We're playing this new game, and I will say, I know that this Heroes Middle Earth game I'm playing is new, so it's like it's got its best foot forward right now. So I'm not trying to compare a year-and-a-half game to a brand new game, because I'm sure that every game's going to have its shortcomings. But right now, if you go to this new game, they have like a area to report things or suggest things, and you can go and see everything that's been submitted by anybody, and they mark it as like it's backlogged right now, it's being investigated, it's been fixed, like it's been addressed, like there's information on it. There's a much better system for how to communicate with the devs and for them to let us know a little bit of what's going on with this game that we are funding as a community. So again, they have the Discord thing where it's like, yeah, if you put it in there, again, let me see if I can pull this up really quickly and show you guys, just so I can, how long it's been and how much attention this has gotten. So here it is, by the way. This is suggestion 2389. It's a little bit old. This is November, so it's been about 6 months since I did this. This thing has 608. Not to mention there are countless posts like this that also do very, very well. But to my knowledge, again, I detailed out pretty well here with some feedback from other players how this could work, why it's a win-win for devs. This is not just like, hey, give us a handout. It makes the game healthier, and so people spend more, they play more, game makes more money. It seems very simple to me, but we can't even get a response on it. So again, there's stuff like this that's been out there for 6 months in the form that they want, getting this much, which is a lot for a Discord post like this. I know there's thousands of people playing this game, but there's a lot here. So I mean, hey, if you want to go find, maybe I'll link it below to just even continue to show. If you haven't upvoted this, go ahead and do so. I'll link it down below. But it's suggestion 2389, and there are countless, seems an exaggeration here, but there are probably dozens of posts about a respect refund system as something players absolutely want. And again, no word on it, anything like that. All right, so that's point number one. I'm not trying to spend a whole lot of time on all this, and I apologize if it's seeming kind of like a ramble, but I'm just trying to highlight some really major things that hopefully, if this were to get enough attention, or hopefully they see it, or someone on that team sees it and forwards it on, they could see, yeah, the play, look at the comments, look through. So I mean, if you agree with any of this, leave a comment, do something, interact with this, so they can see, maybe someone will see it and go, oh man, this is not just a few people, there are people that are worried about the state of the game. Okay, next thing, it kind of working off of that from Commander, again, there's respect refund, I think, is needed. The other thing that, again, would take work on there, and it doesn't directly make them money, which is why it's not happened, is just Commander balance updates or reworks. There are so many iconic Middle-earth characters. I'll make this point quick, okay? There are so many iconic characters, like Kumul, for example, the only legitimately named Nazgul in Middle-earth lore or history or whatever, and he's not good. And he's not used, and everyone used him early game, season 1, season 2, and put him up to whatever respect, and he's just sat the bench for 7 seasons or 8 seasons for a lot of people. It's very silly. A slight adjustment to his kit. We've talked on stream for hours, talking through what these things could be, hypotheticals. Legolas was one we covered recently and did a video on about why he's deserving to, again, a more iconic character, should be a little better, and did a mock kit of what this could look like to adjust, just changing things slightly, even pulling from other skills in the game already and saying, okay, give him this skill, put it here. And so it's not like we're asking for a complete tear down and redesign, because I know, again, that takes time, takes money. But we need some balances. We shouldn't have, I would say there's probably 70% of the commanders, maybe that's a little bit high, but there's a significant percentage of the commanders who are not usable. There's some that fall in that, if you put enough gear and respect to them, they can work. And then there's the very clear meta that you're going to hit 9 out of 10 times. And unless you're running the meta or something that counters that's a hard counter, you're going to get wrecked. So again, balancing commanders, updates, whatever, that would be awesome. I'll even add on a note here. I'm not saying we need new commanders. We need these fixed before we get any new commanders. But they did 8 months ago, by the way, 8 months ago in their 1-year anniversary event, they announced Bard. They announced Bard along with Beorn and Oglurg. Haven't heard anything about Bard. It's been 8 months. And they also confirmed Balrog Commander. They teased Balrog Commander, said he's coming. We can't say yet when. 8 months, we've not heard another single thing about it. They also teased Sandbox Mode and said it's coming. We just don't know yet. Haven't heard a single thing about it. So just the like minuscule amount of communication they've done on a few of those things, they've not followed up with in any avenue. So to me, it's embarrassing when they put all that time and energy into like a big 1-year live stream event and talk about the things people don't care about. They're like, oh, we're working on the graphics and like we've added commander animations and like, yeah, some things look better. I will give them that. But I guarantee you, every single player that plays this game would rather have them balance out commanders than make it look any better or any different. And a lot of us would be okay with them not having spent time on the commander march animations to buff commanders or balance commanders. So anyway, that's a note on the balancing that definitely needs to happen with the commanders in the game. I think that's absolutely crucial, in addition to the respect refund system. And the last point I do want to talk about, let me pull this up really quick so I can kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. The last thing I think needs to happen with this game would come, I think, with an adjustment in backend as well, or with how the backend registration works. We need to consolidate the player base that we still have in this game by reducing the amount of campaigns that are available. Again, if you go here, this won't show all of them, but there are technically, if you count season 1 and 2, 7 campaigns, 5 if you don't count them. Many of those 5 having roleplay and non-roleplay available. So for a game that is not, I don't think, like going crazy in terms of new players coming in every day, for a game like this to have non-roleplay and roleplay as options on about 5 campaigns, so there's like 10 options for campaigns to spread the player base out, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think they need to consolidate the player base. I know some people aren't going to want to hear this, but I'm sorry, if you like roleplay or you like non-roleplay, you might need to start thinking about being a little bit flexible for the sake of the game's future, because I absolutely think the spread of players is leading to inactive servers, which is leading to players quitting. I think it's very simple. So go to RP or go to non-roleplay. I'm not saying player, I'm saying devs, make the game one or the other. I don't even care anymore. My preference is non-roleplay. I've liked that. But at the end of the day, if they want to implement a system and go back to RP and say, okay, you can refund one of your sides. So I could refund my light or dark side. And when I say refund, I mean like exchange them for the other side. So I could turn my evil side into like equivalent respect on the good side. So allow us to convert one to the other and go to RP or go non-RP. And I know there are RP people watching who don't like that. I'm sorry. I don't at this point think we can be that picky about the preference between RP and non-RP. I'm willing to do either one, at least if they make the jump to RP reasonable. I don't want to lose half my commanders I spent money on. But I think the player base is way too small and not growing fast enough to sustain roleplay and non-roleplay and all the campaigns. Get rid of almost all the campaigns. Again, if they want to pick one and go with it, I'd be flexible. I'd try it. I have my personal favorites. I like the Kings of Men campaign. Basically, I think they should have season 1 and 2 for new players. Maybe a season 3 that is like to be more casually played for those who maybe want a little bit of a different experience, and then add like a Kings of Men that has a different registration process that is more kind of manually looked at, so we can actually get full teams in of active players from like the player base is being condensed, and have these like more exciting larger servers that aren't dead with a month left in time. I just think the amount of stuff here is ridiculous. It needs to be condensed, and there needs to be some manual intervention with the registration process, as well as just manual intervention to end seasons. We've got 3 weeks left in our server, and we've been done for a little while, and we're going to sit there for 3 weeks. That makes no sense after a year and a half that they can't look at some stat or system that shows that the activity of players in this server is plummeting because people don't want to log in, or they log in for 2 minutes or whatever. You should be able to see by those stats and data on how people are playing that season's over. So there needs to be manual intervention. But again, my third point is just the consolidation of the player base. However they figure that out, I'm willing to be flexible myself. And I know it's not everyone. And there are probably some people that are like, I'm RP, and if they go out non-roleplay only, I'll quit. I'm sorry. The game's not going to last that long for you to play RP for that much longer if they don't start doing some meaningful things. Now, again, if they do a lot of other things and the game really starts improving and new players are being welcomed, and there's exciting events and whatever, then yeah, maybe they can keep that. The variety is not a bad thing, but you have to have the player base to sustain it, and I just don't think they do. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up before it gets ridiculously long. It's already longer than I want it to be, but I think those are 3 important points. I think I could probably go over 10 points. This could be like an hour-long thing. Not going to do that today, but let me know down below if this is something that am I way off base? Like, is everyone else like really excited for the game's future and thinking we're in a really good spot? I don't think we are. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. If there are points you agree with or disagree with, or additional points I did not mention because I would like, if the devs were to see this video, I would like for them to maybe see that there's quite a bit of response from players, not only watching this, but interacting with it and saying, yeah, this, like, we need changes absolutely, or else we're gonna have an issue. And again, for me, I'm not shoveling more money into this game for them just to crank out more chests at me every, you know, couple of weeks with no meaningful updates or communication. Let's start with communication. Just let us know what's going on. We'll work from there. But anywho, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. And as always, I will see you in the next video.